Hey everyone, today broker Glenn Stein will be going over 20 points in leadership for real estate agents, and this is part one, so hope you enjoy.
With the people that you're leading. It's easy for us to be the boss, to be the leader, to be the person that people are looking up to. But it's so much easier for us to lead when we're doing the things that we're supposed to be doing, that we're telling other people to do, or we've done it in the past and are willing to do it ourselves. And I think, would you all agree with that? Right? Now, I think what's important is that my goal for you today is not only to, all right, these are great, that was interesting, it was an interesting talk, we had a little bit of fun, but I'd like for you to at least take one or two of these points and say, you know what, I really need to work on this. I really need to work on number 5, whatever number 5 is. I don't even know what it is, I haven't gotten there. But, right? Like, so I want you to think about that. What is the point that you need to work on? And you can share it with everybody. You can not share it with anybody. It doesn't matter, but as long as you use this time and actually maximize it to the best of your abilities. So number 1 is being in integrity. Number 2 is create a vision board. Where are you going? Where are you taking the people that you're leading? Where are they going? And share that vision. Share your experiences, which is why I shared what I shared with you in the beginning. I think it's important for people to understand who you are, what you've done, not for bragging purposes, by the way, but it's important for people, if they're going to, I shouldn't say follow, because I don't even think, I think we've gotten away from the whole, people are following you. I think you're moving in the same stream as everybody else. And I think it's important that we get our hands dirty the way we need to get dirty, as opposed to, you're standing at the front of the room and you're always, you're preaching, right? But I think it's important that we communicate to everybody that we're around, that they understand where we're all going together, and you're going to do whatever it takes to help them get to that point. So that also tells me we need to understand where they want to go, because it's not only about our goal. So brokers, raise your hand again. Okay. We also have some title people here that are running owners of companies, mortgage, right? I think we have that, insurance as well, correct? Right? We have owners of organizations, so, and companies, and by the way, realtors that are here, guess what? Your broker's not really your boss, as you know. Independent contractor, which is a double-edged sword. We run our own businesses, right? The good and bad of being in real estate, because a lot of times we get into real estate because we want freedom. But freedom also is the thing that keeps us from expanding and growing as well, because we can do whatever we want. Broker's not going to fire me in most cases, unless I do something unethical. So, you laugh. you must have had that situation. So, being okay, let's all leave the room. So, that always happens in every session. Don't be embarrassed. So, those are the first 2 points. The third point I have for you is provide so much value. And I think we need to understand what value is. I think we need to think about what value is to you and what that means to you. And for me, I think about like value from the realtor standpoint. It's how much value are you going to provide to your buyer? How much value are you going to provide to your seller, to your client? What kind of service are you going to provide? What kind of communication are you going to have with your people? Because one of the things, if we were playing Family Feud, the biggest complaint that the public has with us is lack of communication, not knowing what's going on. Now, sometimes it's not our fault, right? It could be the mortgage person, not anybody in this room, right? The mortgage person, it could be title, it could be inspector, it could be something that is not directly related to us, but guess what? You're going to get blamed. As the broker, we need to provide so much value for our people, making sure that we're paving the way for them to have as much success as possible. Eliminating the barriers, not creating so many rules. Obviously we've got to abide by the local board rules, we have to abide by the state rules, and you guys are here to talk about that, obviously. But we shouldn't have so many rules and regulations and so many office meetings that it's hindering people. One of the things that I'm really a big fan of is not only having great culture, but also having short meetings. Really short meetings. Like the sales meetings I have are typically 15 to 20 minutes long, every week. Now, I believe in lots of communication. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, that's one of my points, communication. But there's other ways to communicate other than having an hour-long meeting, right? Or a 2-hour-long meeting. So hopefully nobody in this room is having like really, really long meetings. And if you're having long meetings, provide so much value in the meetings, because agents / realtors really don't like long meetings. I hear a lot of that complaint from a lot of my clients. Not anybody in my office, because we don't have long meetings. But that's something you and if you're having long meetings now, work on it, right? Think about what you could do to improve the amount of time that your agents are spending inside the office and not on the street working. Let's see, any questions? Okay, good. My fourth one here is you can't do it alone. And a lot of times there's a famous slide. Who's ever seen the slide with Gru and the minions? Right? There's the Gru and the minions where you have the leader who's doing it pretty much all himself, and then you've got a bunch of followers. The best way to do it is to have people working with you, creating a great atmosphere where you've got great staff, and the staff is, they're well trained, and they're responsible, and you're delegating at a high level. So surround yourself with people that are going to buy into what you're trying to, where you're trying to go. So work on that consistently. Okay. Number 6. 4. Good. I'm from Florida. So, all right, so number 1 is vision, 2 is integrity, 3 is value, 4 is you can't do it alone and surround yourself with amazing people. 5 is communicate effectively. Who's ever seen the movie Aloha? Okay, one person, thank you.
Bradley Cooper, I've seen it.
Thank you, yes. So we're going to talk for a minute. You'll get this. So there's a scene in this movie where Bradley Cooper is talking to, what's his name, John Krasinski, right? And she's not talking to him at all. And there's 2 guys, and look, famously, guys are not great at communication, right? Surprising, right? It's shocking. We grunt, we growl, that's kind of what we do. Women know this. Guys, we're not going to admit it. I'll admit it for us. So typically in this movie, what happens is that they're looking at each other, and they're both giving each other a look. The head nod. We do that as guys. You know what I'm talking about. Like, there's a lot of, and this is going on. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to have a volunteer because it would be like a little bit uncomfortable for us both. Like, don't look at me. But that's what typically happens. The communications. We need to improve our communications. And in the movie, they're just, for about a minute and a half, they're just looking at each other, and they know exactly what each other's saying. So it's kind of a funny way of illustrating what communication is, but we need to do a better job with that. And women are typically better at communication, sometimes overly communicative, right? Sometimes we might have to limit it a little bit. And guys, we need to work better, right? Nodding right in the back. We've got to work on communication in spades. And what I find is that I've got to work with my male agents more with communication. Because if we don't communicate, our clients, whether it's with our agents or our clients, there's going to be an issue. Because people expect lots of communication. And email could be good. Texting could be okay. Phone call is fabulous. Face-to-face is amazing too. But we have to know how they want to communicate. I think that's super important. And we need to know, by the way, look, I have a certain way of communicating with my agents. So one of those ways is we have a caravan. We still have caravan. We have enough listings where we can do a caravan every single week. That's what we do. We have a caravan bus. People jump on the bus, and I get to communicate with my people. Then we have a sales meeting, and I also have a weekly call with my people on freeconferencecall.com. We have a group text. We do group email. I do Facebook Live. Once or twice a week, even 3 times, where I'll do like a quick message, maybe a motivational message, a quick hit, because a lot of times as brokers, are we not a little bit busy? Right? And sometimes we're also selling as well, or we're doing something else. So we've got to maximize our time. So what we need to do is we need to connect and touch our people how we can. So that might mean 3 or 4 different ways to do that. That's how I do it. But you need to understand your culture and how your people are going to want to be communicated with. Super important. Questions? No? You guys be thinking about questions, because I'm going to be done like in 3 minutes, and then we're going to have like 50 minutes. No, I'm kidding. But think about your questions, because what I want you to think about is, I want you to think about what you're going to need to work on in your business in 2020. There's going to be some things that are also happening. There's a lot of disruption that's happening in the business, in the industry. And you guys were just talking about this previously, like Realtor.com and Zillow. There's a lot of things that are happening. So I want you to think about that. We'll talk about that. Maybe it's in business. Maybe it's private. Maybe, something unusual, difficult, bizarre, unfortunate. Everybody's gone through it. It's called life. I think it's really important to really take inventory of those things. Take inventory of the tough times you go through, because a lot of times we don't remember who we really are.